And so, as we start off, would you give our listeners and viewers a brief overview of your journey in the retail industry and how you got started?
Sure, I'd be happy to. First, let me start by just saying thank you, Yolanda, for having me on this evening as part of your Innovation Insights podcast series. I'm excited to share with your listeners this evening how to build your personal brand and the importance of appointing your own board of directors. My hopes this evening is to just create some thought provoking ideas around a topic that many of us probably do not spend enough time on, and that is your personal brand. But first, you'd asked about my career in the retail industry. I graduated from Iowa State University in the College of Business. I received my master's in marketing from the University of Missouri in Kansas City. And when I was a senior at Iowa State many years ago, I was in the decision making process of going to work for a technology company in Texas when a retailer from Kansas City interviewed on campus. At that time, my academic advisor recommended that I interviewed with them. So I did. I flew to Kansas City, went through a few more rounds of interviews. I had the opportunity to meet the president of the Jones Store Company, who at the time was Terry Jarvis, and was offered a job in their management training program. And I had never worked in the fashion industry. I'd never worked in a store or for a retailer for that matter. And, and I certainly didn't study fashion when I was at Iowa State. In fact, I combined peas for Del Monte Corporation back in DeKalb, Illinois, the 4 summers I was in college at Iowa State. Quite the opposite, or probably the furthest you could get away, furthest you could get from the fashion industry. But, Jan, what intrigued me about the industry was that at a very young age, I was going to have the opportunity to be responsible for, manage, and run a large business utilizing, honestly, all of the principles that I'd studied in the College of Business at Iowa State. So, marketing, management, managing people, accounting, finance, economics, supply chain, which at the time I think was transportation or logistics back in the day, all at the same time while being creative, a risk taker, and thinking like an entrepreneur. So that really excited me, and it's really that began a 35-year career in the retail industry with, as you mentioned, 4 Fortune 500 companies and corporate leadership roles with several names that, as you mentioned, I'm sure many of your listeners are familiar with.